Here is one of the results that come about as a result of aging. As we age, one of the most powerful tools we have for preserving our mental health, independence, and quality of life is our ability to remain active. However, globally, it has been revealed roughly half or less than half of adults over the age of 50 get the recommended amount of physical activity they need to optimize their health, with activity levels also dropping dramatically after the ages of 60 and 75. The World Health Organization says that between 2.5% and 22% of older age adults meet the physical and recommended requirements for physical activity of 150 minutes of moderate to intensified exercise, according to the International Clinical Geriatrics Journal. In today's episode, we're joined by my friend Heath Jones, a Australian health and fitness expert who is redefining what strong and active aging looks like. He's the founder of Active and Ageless Fitness Centres, where his mission is simple yet transformative. He wants to help people move and feel better over the age of 50, while also living a fully active and participatory lifestyle. He's got a rare combination of experience as a registered nurse, scientist, personal trainer, and infantry soldier. He brings a science-backed, practical, and deeply meaningful approach to healthy aging, which is human-centered. He focuses on pain reduction, longevity, mental health, and breaking down the psychological and physical barriers which prevent people over the age of 50 from staying active. And he has a personal connection to this work. His story is one of resilience after nearly 20 years of dealing with chronic back pain, which included 3 spinal surgeries. He understands firsthand the setbacks that many people face. However, he continued to surf the big waves of Australia, box, hike, and to challenge himself physically and mentally. His core belief is simple yet powerful that movement, community, and mindset are the true medicine for a vibrant life. And he joined me this week to tell me more. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. If you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, my friend. I want to wish you a very happy birthday, and I want to tell you that I'm excited to talk to you about how you help people over 50 live fully active and healthy lives. It's great to see you, my friend, and thank you so very much for being here.
Thanks, man. Excited to have this chat with you, Kevin.
Absolutely. So, I know that you're on a mission to help people over the age of 50 live full, active, and healthy lives, my friend. And I know that movement, community, and connectiveness is part of what you help people understand about the importance of their fitness journey, my friend. So I'm wondering if we could start our conversation by you telling me what makes you so fabulous, my friend, and why you love what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great intro. So, yeah, my name's Heath, and I suppose I've been doing my. We've got a gym called Active Ageless. We're a couple of gyms now. Active Ageless, where we specialise in health and fitness solutions for over 50s. My past life, many years ago, I was a registered nurse for years. I spent time in the military. I've been a personal trainer for around 20 years. And I suppose a few years ago, I kind of decided to combine it all. I've always been involved in health and wellness and, helping people get better. But I always found with the medical system that we generally have across the world is more of a reactive system. Someone gets sick, they go to hospitals, doctors, whoever else, primary health care physicians, and they hopefully get better through whatever means, through procedures, medications, and so forth. But I started to go down the rabbit hole after a few, suppose, heavy injuries myself, mostly lower back, and realised that a lot of what we do to our body can be, as in the bad things we do, the inactivity, the bad food, the stress, a lot of that can be prevented or reduced at least, and give us a better outlook on life physically and mentally. So then I started kind of looking into doing what I'm doing now. I suppose helping those potentially diseases and so forth get nipped in the bud earlier on in the piece, where they, so whether it's a chronic disease, hypertension, obesity, diabetes, helping people understand them, helping people work towards bettering those conditions before they become a real insidious problem that, we need medications and procedures and operations. So I like to see what we do in the field of health and wellness more preventative, as opposed to the general medical system in the world is more reactive to, certain medical afflictions. We want to try to help people not get to that stage where they need further treatment, or if they do have, certain chronic diseases, we can help them, I suppose, reduce the effects of those diseases without straight away going to, medical care and getting medications and so forth. So preventative healthcare, mate, that's what I suppose we see ourselves as, and yeah, we love it. And I'm a big believer in living life to the fullest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to get your opinion on what it means to live your life to the fullest from a health perspective and really optimize your health. Because, full disclosure, I have cerebral palsy. So if I'm not active, I lose control of my muscles and, my fitness level faster than most people, but I always say that fitness is a priority or a choice that we all have to make. So what's your opinion on really optimizing your health and really making sure that we make it a proactive choice to live a healthy lifestyle? What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah, sure, mate. So I suppose a personal saying of mine is living life to the fullest at any age or stage. So it's basically doing what you can do. You have a particular condition. There's other people out there that have particular conditions, but it doesn't mean that, that defines you. So I think that, like I said to you, I've had multiple back operations. I was told many times before by well-meaning, allied health practitioners and doctors that I was never able to do anything. I was never able to, to go surfing or running or boxing and all those things I do now. I'm sure there's been plenty of times, Kevin, you've been told you can't do anything, but you've kind of defied the orders of well-meaning kind of medicos out there, and just trying to, I suppose, I believe life is precious, and And I think that to live life to the fullest, we also need to challenge ourselves in a physical and mental way on a daily basis. So, we can quite simply let life pass us by. It's probably it was the easy way out. Otherwise, you can really, I suppose, challenge that narrative and do the best for what you can do. Give them, this set of cards that you've been handed, or you've been given. So, like I said, I could have hung up the boots many years ago and been on pain medications for the rest of my life, and the thought of that scared me and depressed me quite a lot. So I suppose I chose another option, and it wasn't easy, and it still isn't easy, but I'm trying to live my life to the fullest by training my body, training my brain, and allowing me to do those things that I really love doing. So I'm always, would just say, pushing it and really giving it a nudge, both physically and mentally. And I don't expect everyone out there has to go and do crazy extreme sporting activities that I do to myself. But I suppose I want to be a source of inspiration. That's a lot of people, their biggest limiting factor is not their body. It's quite often their brain. It's what their brain tells them that they can and can't do. So I suppose I would love to, and I do, empower people as much as I can to push themselves a little bit harder, be a little bit more uncomfortable, or be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And just challenging themselves, because we used to say in the military, you train hard, you fight easy. So I think that if you do your best, and whether you're training or whatever you're doing exercise wise, you do that, life becomes a little bit easier. But it is that training that you need to do, and you need to force yourself to do at times, to make the rest of your life and activities of daily living a bit easier and a bit more, would you say, safer to navigate. But so just challenging people to live their best life, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Keith, I'm curious, with your time as a nurse and in the military, I'm curious, what did that teach you about discipline and achieving goals? And how does that help you in the work that you do today, my friend? What are your thoughts then?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose discipline is a big part of my life. I'm probably even more disciplined nowadays than when I was in the military. And meaning that I'm probably, to a certain extent, a little bit harder on myself now. But I kind of enjoy discipline. And when I say discipline, I don't exactly, yell at myself like they did in the military. And it's self-imposed discipline now when we had to be disciplined when we're in the military, but it was someone else, enforcing you to do that. And what I mean by being self-disciplined nowadays, even around, my training schedule, like I said to you, today is my birthday, but I was still, after having a chat with you, Kevin, I was still going to train today. And I love training. At the end of it, I always feel so much better. I can go about my day with greater clarity, with greater energy. So I make myself do that every day. Even on a weekly basis, my diet is generally pretty much the same week to week. Like, I eat the same things Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Some people would say, don't you get bored of that? Absolutely not. I know every single Tuesday night is salmon night, for example, and I love it. I get Canadian salmon, actually. So I think if you are disciplined on yourself, with your training, with your even your mental health side of things, I could do 10 minutes of deep breathing a day, sometimes twice a day if I've had a stressful day. I think actually life becomes a lot easier, because I don't come home and say what I'm going to eat tonight, for example, because I already know what I'm going to eat. So therefore, I've prepared for that. I have that food there, it's ready, it's good to go. And usually I do it on the weekend, the leading into the week. So discipline, to me, it actually gives me more freedom. It gives me more freedom to have a little bit more time to do and think of other things. So it actually gives you that, I suppose, the ability to not have to be thinking all the time. I even know my training regime, like every Tuesday morning, which is Tuesday morning here now, I'll go to the beach, Bondi Beach down here, a few hundred meters away. I'll go and do beach sprints every Tuesday morning. I've done it for years. And I love it. I get it done. And it gives me more freedom. So I think structure might even be a better word for people that hear the word discipline and freak out. Structure could be a better way to look at it. And structure also, like I said, it gives you freedom, gives you more time to think about, put your energy and your thoughts into other things.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Heath, I'm also curious to get your thoughts on this because the National Institute of Health says that only between 2 and 22.5% of today's population over the age of 50 gets a recommended amount of 150 minutes of active activity every week, my friend. So what do you make of those findings, and how do you think we can motivate more people over 50 to take control of their health, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, those parameters are, I think they're suitable. I think it is a good benchmark. You can go above and beyond that. I know plenty of people that do. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't. It is very hard to motivate somebody else. I think when it comes to motivation, there's a few things that you can do. And one of them is the structure side of things, where, like I said, I have my weekly training planned out. Also, too, I think one really big thing to help people actually move is to do it in a group. Do it with a friend. Do it with a group of friends. So things like, say, instead of catching up just for a coffee or, a beer at the pub or something like that, go for a walk with your mates, or kick the football in the park, or go and train with your friends, or go for a swim or a hike or something like that. So it is the statistics around inactivity. They do sadden me a lot, because it's a little bit hard for me to see it through my lens, because I love being active, and I know that if there's a period of time where I'm injured or sick for whatever reason and I can't train, I don't feel my best. So for those people that don't do that, they don't know that they could feel better. Those people that don't exercise now, they don't know that they could actually feel a whole lot better. The hardest part is always starting for the 80% or whatever that don't regularly exercise. You don't need to go into doing 5 days a week and 5 heavy gym sessions a week, or 5 intense walks, or a big run or whatever. You just got to start, because as soon as you start, it becomes a little bit easier bit by bit. It has that snowball effect. So, I'd love to learn a way, Kevin, we can motivate and inspire people more to move their body more, because you do feel better for it. So, one extra person, that's if you and I doing this podcast here today, if we can inspire and motivate one extra person to get out there and start training, it's we've done well. So that's the main thing. You just got to start, and it doesn't need to be a crazy amount of exercise or a crazy intense session. Just get the ball rolling, and it'll feel better bit by bit as you get fitter.
Yeah, absolutely. The physiotherapists and the personal support workers that work with me, they always tell me that movement is medicine, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Yeah, movement is medicine. It's along with diet and mental health. I always talk to my members and people about the triad of health, I call it. So if you think a triangle, you got one side is the exercise component, the other side is the diet component, and the other side of the triangle is the mental health component. So unless you have all three of those, or you're kind of, at least considering all three of those components of the triad of health, it's you won't be reaching the optimal health level for you. But yeah, definitely, it starts with movement. And once again, it's not a massive amount of movement if you just want to start, but you got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I know that you design fitness programs and classes designed for mobility and retaining muscle mass and strength. So, but you also do it as a sense of community in order to boost well-being. So I'm curious, my friend, why is building a sense of community and the fact since you brought it up, the importance of mental health and working with people over 50, why is that important to you, the mental health component and the whole building of community, my friend? Why is that so important?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Whether we want to build friendships, a lot of people that maybe over 50 years of age, they may not be in the workspace anymore. They might not have that camaraderie that you get by working in a team environment. So, yeah, if you start training with other people, you'll meet other people, which is really important. And then one of the main things that you'll get out of exercising with somebody else is that accountability. If you and I, Kevin, have decided to train every Thursday afternoon together, or whatever we do with each other every Thursday afternoon. If I'm not feeling up for that Thursday afternoon, I'm like, I don't want to let Kevin down, so I'm going to go anyway. And chances are I go and we do whatever we do, mate, and we enjoy it. We have a good chat, and we actually move our bodies as well. So I think that's a massive component to it's called exercise adherence, where it's to keep us with a particular program is doing it with other people. So I think a lot of people with my gyms now, I think, they first come there for the exercise, and they come there for the programs, but then they built such amazing friendships that they almost go there to see each other, and the exercise component is secondary. And that's fine with me. They're still exercising, but they come there to hang out with their friends. So I think that community side of things is so important. It's if that keeps you going, if that keeps you training, keeps you exercising, so be it. It's it's one of the reasons why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. No. He's the National Institute of Health. They also report that people over the age of 50 who exercise regularly, my friend, can live an average of 2 to 4 years longer than those who are inactive. And some research by the NIH also says people who over the age of 50 can live an average of 7 years longer than those that don't, my friend, and that are inactive. And finally, they also say that between 30 and 35% of the time they can lower their risk, rather, of living in a sedentary lifestyle, my friend. So talk to me about the importance of making the business, the statistical case of why it's important to exercise, because if you can show people that the proof, it makes them easier. It makes it easier for them to take the action, my friend. So tell me, what do you make of those findings, and what does it tell you about the people who are motivated to exercise and improving their quality of life? What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Sure. So I'll touch on the statistics that you've just talked about, Kevin. I'm also going to talk to you about something else. So what I can't remember, you said approximately 7 years. These people that are physically active will live 7 years longer. So a lot of the benefits to exercise, I mean, there's a myriad of benefits, and one is to help treat acquired diseases such as diabetes, osteoporosis, obesity. A lot of those chronic conditions can be improved significantly with the application of a good diet and regular exercise, especially with regular resistance training such as weights and so forth. So there's that component that we actually may push out the lifespan a little bit longer because we don't have the same amount of complications that we can get through these chronic diseases. But one factor is that sometimes is overlooked a lot is the fact that not only do we live longer, but we live better. So we might have two 60-year-olds that walk through the front door of our gym. One of them is already training regularly, they're eating well, they're engaged in the community. And the next one has been sedentary for a long time and may have a few chronic conditions. They don't have the best diet, they're very extremely stressed. So those people might, the fitter one might live for a little bit longer, but at 60 years of age, their lives are completely different. One of them has a far higher quality of life purely because of the way they treat their body and the way they treat their mind. So we talk about the health span versus lifespan. So lifespan is essentially how long you're going to live for, and a health span is that time that you live for in the absence of disease. So the exercise component, yes, it'll make you live longer, but it makes you live better. So it's really important to focus on that as well. Because I'm 48 now, 48 years of age, and I know there's plenty of people out there, even my age, that don't do enough physical activity. They probably drink too much alcohol. They maybe smoke cigarettes. They sit too much, and their diet isn't the best. So they would not be able to have as a complete a life and as active a life that I have now. We might even live the same length of time. However, I know by the structure and the discipline that I place upon myself with my food and my exercise, I live a more active and I live a healthier life now.
Yeah, and I'm curious to ask you about training people over the age of 50 specifically. Anyone listening or watching this today, I'm curious to get your thoughts on, the different intricacies that go into training someone over the advanced age of 50 versus someone that's 25, for example. So I'm curious, anyone watching or listening to this, what would you tell them about what is different from training someone who's 50 versus 25, my friend?
Yeah, sure. Some people over the age of 50 are as fit and as agile as some 25-year-olds. So it's very much a case-by-case situation. I would recommend if someone is starting for the first time in their 50s, for example, or their 60s or 70s, that they go somewhere and get trained by someone who specialises in mature adults. So if we want to talk about, say, averages, their range of motion might be a little bit more reduced than someone younger, meaning that they won't be able to, say, move their body as far. They may not be as strong. They may have a few issues such as a hearing impairment or a sight impairment. But I think we need to we need to understand that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought a little. I had a particular point to make, but I think we also, when we get to a certain age, we do kind of label, people, all 60-year-olds are the same. Well, they're not, because I've seen some people that are in their 60s and 70s, and they're still extremely fit and agile and limber. So I think the biggest thing is that if someone is starting in that, the sooner you start, the better. So if you're 60 years of age and you're like, okay, I need to exercise. I haven't exercised since I was at school. That's probably 40 years ago or so. Start gently. You need to learn the movement patterns. So that's one of the main things I see when people start exercising at a later age, is they don't have the control of their limbs as well as someone who would do if they're regularly exercising. So start light, start easy, learn how to move the body. It's so important. to move the right way, as opposed to jumping into a heavy exercise program.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to ask you, what do you think is the best part about living life to the fullest, my friend? And I know today's your birthday, my friend, so I'm a pretty self-reflective guy, and I'm curious, what does it mean to you to live life to the fullest, my friend?
Yeah, so like I said, I think life is precious, and living life to the fullest to me could be different to you, could be different to the next person. My living life to the fullest is engaging in lots of different sports and activities. I also like to, I'm quite social, got a lot of friends and family that I like to spend time with. Living life to the fullest, I think living life to the fullest, like I said, is different for every person. However, it all comes back to that basic fundamental of having your physicality about you, and it's really hard to live life to the fullest in any capacity. Some people could be, I want to, it could be 70 years of age and they want to go and walk the Great Wall of China, or they want to go and travel overseas, or they want to do their first 10-kilometer fun run at a certain age, or they want to play with their grandchildren in the sandpit. Whatever that may be for you, this should be one of your whys. There's sometimes in the morning and it's, maybe cold or raining or whatever, and we just want to, stay in bed all day or hit snooze button a few times. Think about why you need to be active, what it means to you to be able to live your life to the fullest, whether that's, like I said, if you want to be around for your grandchildren. And I always say to people, I don't want you to sit there and watch your grandchildren play football in the backyard or dig in the sandpit. I want you to be in there with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one of the motivating factors for people, that we try to inspire people why you need to be active and why you need to be consistently active, is because it all comes back to your individual why. So that is your living life to the fullest, and why it is that we need to do what we need to do in terms of keeping fit.
Yeah, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on the connection between fitness resilience and accountability. As you mentioned, you dealt with back pain and you went through 3 spinal surgeries, but you also you used that experience to push beyond the boundaries in box and surf and do all the rest of it. And for me, despite my disability, I enjoy going swimming. Walking is big for me, and just movement in general, my friends. So what do you think is the correlation between fitness resilience and accountability, my friend?
Between fitness, resilience, and accountability, this is, I think, first and foremost, we need to be accountable to ourselves. So, like I said, if you and I set up a certain day that we train together, I'm going to be accountable to you. But primarily, we need to bring it back to be accountable to ourselves. If we're not accountable to ourselves, well, it's hard to kind of really live life to the fullest, I suppose. And in terms of the resilience side of things, life is tough. You've had your challenges. I've had my challenges. Everyone out there, there's not a person out there that doesn't have a particular, would you say, motivating factor that they can draw upon, that they've had to be resilient to overcome or to manage. And I think if you can channel your energy, channel your mindset into overcoming those factors, and being more resilient, you can actually build upon that. And not only you can be better for yourself, in your situation, my situation, I've been able to turn those negatives, which is multiple back operations, spinal fusions, into now helping other people. So I've been able to channel that energy into helping others, and also to overcome and build upon, I suppose those, I don't want to say negative things, but they were, at the time, they definitely were, they weren't a positive. When I had, had to go into for a new back operation every couple of years. So I think for, same as you, Kevin, you've had your challenges, but you're now turning those, once again, I don't want to say negatives, but you've turned those challenges into a positive by spreading the word and helping people and inspiring other people. So resilience is tough. We all have challenges, but I think those challenges that we have in life can really inspire us and inspire ourselves, and then inspire other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eva, I want to talk to you about the new rules of aging well, my friend. What do you think people should know about transitioning if they're dealing with chronic pain to transition to peak performance? What do you think people need to know, my friend?
I think a lot of times with the human mind, our brain is overprotective of us, meaning that we are generally a lot more capable, physically capable, than what we think and what our mind leads us to believe. So quite often I have to keep coming back to my multiple back operations. I was told by a lot of other people, and I was almost telling myself that I couldn't do anything for the rest of my life in terms of sport and activities. However, I think with the new rules of aging now, a lot of people, they come and see us for the first time. They're like, I don't really know whether I should be here because I haven't exercised in years and years and years, and I've never exercised. So I think now that thankfully there's people out there that were helping to motivate and inspire these people, letting these people know that the human body is so much more resilient than what we give it the credibility for. So it's the new rules of aging is like I said, I've seen some people in their 50s, 60s, 70s still extremely fit and active, but they've been disciplined. They've found a way to motivate themselves. They've been inspired by others, been educated by others. So I think with the new rules of aging, it's you can do much more than your mind leads you to believe.
Yeah, and if I'm someone who believes that if you don't set your own level of expectations, it's hard to rise to the level of anyone else's. And I think that analogy really plays when we talk about the fitness space, because if you're comparing to yourself to someone who moves every day versus you who wants to get back into the game, obviously, if you do that, you're susceptible to, setting yourself up to meet expectations that you can't meet. So I'm curious to ask you about, setting your own level of expectations and your advice to people that just want to start moving again. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm a big believer in setting goals for yourself, and those goals don't need to be around. I mean, they can be. Say you want to lose a certain amount of weight, or you want to say decrease some of your medication. So I think your expectations could be around, maybe you want to wake up every day and feel like you're a little bit more energy. You want to be happier. You want to sleep better. So we've got different tiers of benefits to exercise. I think things that we quite often get, we set expectations around, wanting to lose weight or whatever it may be. But I think the main thing we should be focusing on is generally feeling better. So physically and mentally feeling better. And that's something that's, once you do start to kind of train for the first time and start to really, watch your diet and watch what you put in your mouth, you will start to feel significantly better in, a month or two of consistent practice. So the expectations, when we set those expectations, write them down. If it is, you want to, lose a couple of centimeters off your tummy or whatever, that's fine, but objectively measure that. So, but it also don't set the bar too high that it's unobtainable. We want to set those parameters to a point where we should be able to reach them with consistent practice, with challenging ourselves. So expectations are good. Goal setting is good. But also probably get someone to help you set those goals, especially someone who's specializes in mature adults. They understand, what kind of goals we should be setting ourselves, whether it's you want to be able to put on your shoes easier, through increased range of motion or increased flexibility in your lower body or your lower back. So there's a lot of those, say, secondary benefits to exercise that we can look at to help us set those goals. So, and that could be going back to what I said before. You want to be able to work towards something where you want to get down into the sandpit with your grandchild or something like that. That could be a goal for you. So set those expectations. Don't set expectations that you want to halve your body weight. You want to go and do a marathon within 2 months' time when you haven't been doing regular activities. So set the bar, set it high enough that it is a challenge, but don't set it too high that it's unachievable.
Yeah, and I've got a trio of questions left for you, and the first of those three questions is this, my friend. I'm wondering your thoughts on the connection between longevity and setting good habits based on your last answer, my friend. What do you think is the correlation between longevity and forming and setting good habits? Well, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, habits make up what we do with our body on a daily basis. So it's all those little small habits, or they can be coined micro habits, that make giving your body the best chance of improving your overall health span and longevity. So your micro habits could be putting your walking shoes out there every night, your training gear out there every night, so the following morning when you wake up, it's there, it's good to go. That's a good micro habit. Waking up in the morning, and as soon as you wake up, you have a glass of water to help stimulate that digestive system. So it's all those tiny little habits that we do on a daily basis that makes a lot of us pushing forward and being, adhering to our exercise regime or our diet regime a lot easier. Like I said to you, I generally do my shopping on the weekend or even on a Monday, so I'm planned for the week. So it makes it easier. And I know that, on a Wednesday afternoon, for example, if I don't have any food in my fridge or freezer, I'm not looking for, food that's not nutritious. I have my food there. I have my veggies there. I have whatever protein there. I have that good to go. So all those little micro habits that I've developed makes life easy. But not only does it make life easier, it makes it more structured. Therefore, it makes it actually healthier, and I'm more likely to stick to really those patterns, those really positive patterns, which overall lead to a positive health span and lifespan.
Yeah, and I'm curious, living in Australia, my friend, from a societal perspective, what are you seeing from a fitness perspective that is certainly influencing people and their commitment to fitness? So I guess what I'm asking is, what societal pressures do you see in Australia that influence the way people view the importance of their own fitness, my friend?
Yeah, so I suppose I do see a shift, which is very positive, with mature adults. I think, say 10, maybe 20 years ago, if people in the demographic that we target now did exercise, they probably did a lot of cardio stuff. They probably did activities, which is great: tennis, golf, swimming, running, walking, hiking, and activities like that, which is great. And I always say to people, if you do that, keep doing that. But you also need to do strength training. So when I first opened my first gym, I didn't get a lot of people say I didn't get a lot of people come in and say they wanted to improve their strength, especially women. They're always scared to improve their strength because they thought they're going to get big, bulky muscles, which we know now it's not. It doesn't doesn't happen. So now I do see, I have people coming in all the time that, one of the first things, we ask them and say, how do you see yourself in a few months' time? What is the main aspect of your health and fitness you want to improve? And a lot of people now, they say, I want to get stronger. So thankfully, there's a lot of education. There's a lot of, TV shows out there that, like reality TV shows that have showed, and a lot of, research and study has showed the importance of maintaining your strength into your, more mature years. So there is a shift. A lot of the people that we also train, a lot of their children are fit, and they've kind of inspired and, encouraged their parents to stay fit and active, or to get fit and active if they're just starting. So there is a change. It's a slow moving ship, but it's a good one. It's in the right direction. And hopefully there's more people out there like you, me, trying to get the word out there on how important it is to move the body, so we can educate more and get, have a fitter place that we live in, a fitter world that we live in. But thankfully, I see it in Australia. It's good, and I know there's other parts of the world that are the same. They're improving in the education space. So hopefully we see more of it moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, buddy, I know that today's your birthday, so this is a timely time to ask you this question, and it's the way I end all of my podcasts, Heath, and it's talking about how you want to live your personal and professional legacy. And before I ask you that question, I'll tell you why I end my podcast this way. So he's at the age of 9, buddy. I found out that I would never walk without the assistance of a walker or a wheelchair because of the severity of my cerebral palsy. And, when I was told that at 9 that I wouldn't be able to walk for the rest of my life, I truly believe that we're all given sort of a life compass in life, and it's incumbent upon all of us to sort of point it in the direction that we want it to go, or painting our own portrait of success. So when you look at your own life and legacy, my friend, I'm curious, how do you want your life portrait to be painted, my friend?
My life portrait to be painted. I love this. Person who's had his challenges and he was able to turn those challenges into positives to live his life to the fullest and to inspire others to do the same, to pave their own way forward in the best possible way. I love life. I love being a part of it. I love all the things that we can do in the world it's a big crazy world out there, and I think to navigate this world, it's we do need to be our best and put our best foot forward, and helping others is a big part of what I do and what I love doing. So the portrait of my life is that person who pushes themselves as much as I can in fitness and in business to inspire and to empower others.
Yeah, absolutely. And Heath, just because I'm curious to get your perspective on this, based on your last answer, my friend, what do you think you've learned most as you continue to live life about maximizing wisdom in terms of picking up new knowledge or using the wisdom that you've gained throughout the course of your life, my friends? So what do you think is the key to maximizing and optimizing wisdom as well?
Yeah, I think if I'm answering this correctly, Kevin, I think I like to constantly educate myself to help educate other people. So I think the wisdom that I've gained throughout the years is I almost use myself as a bit of a guinea pig sometimes to with different practices and methodologies, whether it's with food, with exercise, with the mental health side of things, to then convey that message to other people. But I can't I can't stress the importance enough of being as educated and as knowledgeable as possible about health, wellness, and fitness. Because if you can understand, a little bit more about those fields, you're going to find it easier to lead the best life that you possibly can. I'm sure there's plenty of things that you've learned about your condition that's improved your life to the best of your ability that you may not have been able to do had you have chose to not be educated and understand the condition as much as possible. So, whether people out there, whether they have a certain condition, is to understand that and learn how they can, improve that condition as best as possible. So I think wisdom is something that we increase throughout our lives. And, you can use that wisdom to better yourself, which can in turn help better other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, tell me, if people want to get connected with you, what's the most effective way they can do that, my friend?
Yeah, sure. On Instagram, we're at Active and Ageless Gym. And my personal Instagram is at Heath Jones 1.618. You can see some of the things that I do on there. So, yeah.
Well, fabulous, my friend. As someone that maximizes fitness to the highest of levels, my friend, I really enjoyed this conversation. Again, I want to wish you the happiest of birthdays, and I want to encourage you to continue to live life of wisdom and purpose, my friend. I think you're doing great work in the fitness and wellness space, my friend, and I want to thank you for engaging in conversation and for being here today. It's most appreciated.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for having me. And you have a great evening over there.